Hello and welcome to Career Mavericks Public Speaking 101. On behalf of our president, Ron Busby, our board, our chambers, and our staff, I want to thank you for attending this very important event. It's our last event for December 2022. I'm Philip W. Dunn, Program Manager with U.S. Black Chambers, Inc., affectionately known as the National Voice of Black Businesses, where we represent over 140 Black chambers of commerce and small businesses across the nation. And we are founded on 5 pillars of service. Those pillars are advocacy, access to capital, contracting, entrepreneurial training, such as the event you're attending right now, and chamber development. This webinar was crafted in collaboration with our chambers of commerce, providing technical assistance and resources to businesses across the U.S. with the U.S. Small Business Administration, or the SBA Community Navigator Pilot Program. I want to thank you for your assistance in developing and chairing this program. Our team at USBC, as well as our 20 Navigator chambers, look forward to being a resource to you and to your business as you navigate through this journey. Now, today I have, as usual, I have the pleasure and the esteem and the honor to welcome Jessica and Alicia of the Career Mavericks. They're going to be here to help us with Public Speaking 101. Jess, Alicia, how are y'all today?
Hi guys, how you feel? Always great to be back. We love this platform and we love what you guys are doing.
Awesome.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. I'm so glad to have y'all here today. And I'm going to turn it over to you all, but as you have questions in the audience, please drop those in the chat and then just let us know what's on your mind. Take it away, Jess and Alicia.
Perfect. Thank you.
Awesome. Well, hey, everyone. Super excited to be here. As Phil has said, Jessica and I are here to talk about Public Speaking 101. So in terms of what we are going to cover today, we're going to really talk about and dive deep into what is public speaking. So understanding the different methodologies of public speaking, and then really also understanding how you're perceived when you are public speaking, the spaces you're in, your presence, your brand, all those key things, and how that then comes together for your communication skills. For those of you who may not be as familiar with us, Jessica and I together, we are the Career Mavericks. We are 2 women of color on a mission to help cultivate and produce high-performance students and adults to change the way they work within their organizations and individually. Myself, I have over 10 years of experience in human resources and diversity, equity, and inclusion consulting, where I have my own firm that helps organizations create more equitable and inclusive workplaces. And my partner in crime, Jessica Sinclair, she is the founder of Network Like You Mean It, a workshop that cultivates and helps individuals identify and maintain meaningful relationships through networking. She's also an Amazon bestseller and the Lit MC. She's absolutely amazing. So let's talk about public speaking. There's this quote by Ralph Waldo Emerson that says, "Speech is power, speech is to persuade, to convert, to compel." So when we think about the power of public speaking, and when we think about the power that our voice commands when we are presenting or sharing in a room, we have the opportunity to really begin to change the narrative. We have the opportunity to really connect and share and convert people to anything that we want them to, because we have their attention. We have the opportunity to create real opportunity for change. So the power of public speaking is not something that needs to be dismissed. It is something that as you learn about the skill and you learn about the power of public speaking, you can really create a community and an audience everywhere. So starting from basics, what is public speaking? So essentially, from a definition perspective, public speaking is the process of communicating information to an audience. So pretty simple, pretty baseline definition. But as we go into public speaking, we're going to realize the nuances and the opportunity that we have to really create an opportunity of an experience for our audience and to how to deliver that message as powerfully and as engaging as possible. Because when we are able to hone in the power of public speaking and really hone in on the skill, when we connect and communicate to an audience, we can sharpen our abilities of critical thinking, and we can also help our communication skills, both verbal and nonverbal. And so we're going to dive a little bit deeper on how through public speaking, we're able to really hone in on the skill set that are critical for our brand and our business. And when we think about the power of public speaking, it's really, really important that we understand how to utilize this skill. When we think about the opportunity that we have when we're in front of an audience, that could be our next client, that could be our next prospect, that could be our next customer, that could be a next business partner. There's so many opportunities when you have a stage and you are able to utilize the power of public speaking. And so when you're able to have this opportunity, it really allows you to form connections, helps you to influence decisions, and really motivate real change. If you're not utilizing the power of public speaking, you're really just standing still through your communication, through the way that you present yourself. You're really able to progress in the working world and really create incredible opportunities that without the tool of public speaking would not really be possible. So public speaking is incredibly important. And I know for maybe some of you on the call, it might be a skill that is very nerve-wracking for you, an area you want to develop. And this is the workshop that's going to help you hone in on that skill and help you get more confident in the public speaking arena. And with that, I'm going to talk about how crippling fear is of public speaking. So 95% of people are afraid of public speaking, which is a lot of people. I know myself. I've been speaking as much as I've been working. I've always done presentations, did meetings, conducted panels, things of that nature. And similar with Jessica, she is an MC. She is a master of ceremonies that runs events, puts together opportunities for whether it's graduation or weddings or an opportunity in the community. So she's constantly in front of people. And so we are probably the few percentage that actually enjoy public speaking. We love to be out here. We're talking to all of you here tonight. And so if you are afraid, if you are one of the 95% that are afraid of public speaking, you are not alone. Through our session today, we're going to tell you how to practice. We're going to tell you how to prepare so that you can begin to overcome your fear of public speaking. So get ready, grab a pen. This will be an engaging session. As we know, Jessica loves to call upon people. So get ready because we are going to help you become the public speaking pro. And with that, I'm going to pass it off to Jess.
Thank you so much, Alicia. And again, thank you guys for spending your time. Value is very important. So we're happy you're here to learn tonight. So perception, big word, big word, right? Everything is about perception. It's not what you see, it's not what you hear, it's how people view you. Hold on, I'm sorry. Something's trying to upload on my computer. Hold on one second. I hate when that happens. Hold on. Okay, I'm back. Technical difficulty. It's like Adobe, chill. I crack myself up, people. All right, so perception sets the tone for public speaking. So, are they paying attention, right? Are they fidgeting? Do you look crazy? Do you have lipstick on your teeth? All of that will show, is she prepared? Is she messy, right? Why should we trust you? Public speaking has a lot to do with trust. If I don't trust you, I'm going to tune you out. I'm going to be texting, looking around the room, and all of that jazz. So perception has a lot to do with what people perceive through those senses. And messaging will affect the added value for whatever it is that you're talking about. They have to trust you. How are you perceived? Big question, right? Do people see you as a type A? Do they think that you're reliable? Are you calm? Are you anxious? Are you dependable? I put together this chart because I wanted to help to get your thoughts going, right? It's not about what you do, but again, it's how people view you as. I wanted you guys to take a moment, like Alicia said, we love to do interactive activities, but this is a really good one to help you for next year. Right? I don't want you to rush this task I'm going to ask you to do. If you can just take a quick picture of this screen, will help you for later on. I don't want you to rush it. But when you have the opportunity, write down 6 traits that you think will actively and accurately, 2 different words, right? Actively and accurately reflect you. How do people see you? I want you to ask coworkers, friends, family, because the truth honestly comes from persons that are in that circle. And if it's like your mom, like, oh my God, Jesse, you're great. You're like, all right, maybe move on to someone else because, in mom's eyes, you're like a little saint. But take the time, honestly, really take this task seriously. I've done it. And I made so many changes in how I deliver a message, because a lot of the times we're in our own head. And like I said, if you're anxious, and I don't know if you've been a part of this series where I talk about vital signs and everything like that, has a lot to do with what you're saying. So please just take a moment, take a picture, and think about six traits that would actively and accurately describe who you are, and ask trusted people how they perceive you. Reflect on this list, like I mentioned, on persons that you trust. I love opportunities to make changes in my life, so I really would love you guys to do the same. Don't be rigid. Don't get upset like, oh, this is not me. Take the time. Remember, it's how people see you. It's how they hear you. Take the time to do the exercise and make those necessary changes. So when it comes to delivering a speech, right, we talk about these four circles: the conviction. Are you present? Are you authentic? Right? And are you attentive? For me, I think you guys can see my energy is lit, right? I talk with my hands, I'm smiling a lot. This is as real as you're gonna get, child, right? But there cannot be another Jessica. There cannot be another you. Own your space, right? So conviction, speaking with conviction helps clearly and powerfully engage with people. Sometimes I'm out there and people are like, oh my God, preach it. And I'm like, I'm not a preacher, but I'm so involved, right? I'm so wrapped up in the words, and I'm like, can I get a witness? And all of these things to get my audience involved and engaged. I want you guys to feel me. I want you guys to trust me, right? So understand that conviction has a lot to do with how powerful that message is. Are you taking a pause? Are you waiting for that moment to connect again visually with someone's eyes? Conviction is very important. Being present. A lot of times there's noise in our head, there's noise in the room, right? You're having that internal dialogue with yourself, like, oh my God, can you do this? Are you ready for this? It's the psyche. I remember telling students in our last session that it takes so much to get through our cortex for a positive message or a positive feeling of something good that you just did to get through. We walk in doubt all the time. So understand that being present, getting away from the noise, being centered, take a deep breath in and out, behind the stage or before you get on the Zoom. Understand that you are prepared for execution. Be still. Allow that clarity to click in, and it won't happen if you're not present. Again, authentic. What are you trying to say? What is your body saying? We'll talk more about that later. That's a big contribution to how you deliver your message. It really isn't about the conviction of what you're saying, but it's like how you're looking. How do you feel? Are you smiling? Are you nervous? Understand that there can only be one you. Deliver your message, practice, be truthful to the word, right? Make eye contact, connect with what you're saying, right? And be mindful, right? Pay attention. Don't look around like, oh my God, is my time up? Be thoughtful for persons that may want to ask a question, be observant, right? A lot of the time, like Alicia said, I pick on people, and it's not because I want to be the bad guy, but I need you guys to feel me. If I'm here giving you 60 seconds or 60 minutes, I need to know that you guys walked away with at least one nugget. So I'm going to act for reinforcement. As a nurse, I don't think Alicia mentioned that before. Before I send a patient home upon discharge, I need them to reinforce what I just said. If it's a demonstration, right? A lot of the questions that I ask is, do you understand what I'm saying? Not to be cheeky, but I want to make sure that when they get home and I'm not there, they have fully received all of my attention. And I too have fully answered all their questions. Be alert, be awake, take a cup of coffee, the shot, the espresso, do what needs to be done to stay alert with your message. And before we go to the next slide, I love a good evening class. We come on in the 6 o'clock hour, we kind of wind down for the day. I don't like taking an 8 o'clock in the morning class to teach. It's not my thing. I'm not going to pay attention. I'm going to be jittery. So understand when your flow is, and that will allow you to have more the attention span. You won't be as nervous because this is your time. You're putting it out there for your speech to be delivered. Communication. I mean, we can talk on and on and on about communication and how to effectively deliver, but for time-sensitive reasons, we're going to talk a little bit about these 3 pillars. Content, 7%. Oh my God. Somebody type, oh my God, in the comments right now, right? Body language, 55%. Big, big. Oh, somebody, right? Tonality, 38%. Am I joking like this? Oh my God. Hi, guys. My name is Jessica. No, right? You can hear me. I'm sitting up straight. I don't know if you guys can see my back on the chair. My legs are planted flat. Now, this is if we're sitting down and communicating. If we're standing up, I always have my hand to my side. Sometimes I go, with my index finger, a little tap, so I know that I'm on beat. Nobody wants to hear a robot talk, but let me go back to content. Let's be in order, right? 7% of your audience, right, are there to hear what you have to say. So 7% of the audience is there to get that content. Only 7%, right? So again, who is my audience? Have to know that before you deliver the speech. Is it the elementary school school population? It's the college seniors. Is it corporate America? Is it entrepreneurs? Every time Alicia and I do a conference or a public speaking engagement, we want to know who's in the room because that will help us tweak our content. We always say, be flexible and keep it simple. Stupid is something that I learned in nursing school, delivering the content to my patients. They say, talk to someone on the 3rd grade reading level. Healthcare is different than tech. I wouldn't do that in tech, right? Because the patient population is different educational backgrounds. But if I know I'm in a tech conference, guys, and I have mastery level persons, even doctorate level persons, I'm going to jazz it up a little bit. I'm going to bring my my vocab up a notch. And not that I'm trying to show off, but I want these people to get the value here, to understand that I'm a professional. Right? So understand your audience, but also understand that only 7% of the content that's there is going to resonate with the person. Okay? You can be talking about the chick won't fly, 7%. I just made that up, by the way. 7%. But like I said, the content isn't as important. I can't believe that. Oh my God, OMG. Body language is huge. If I come there and I'm talking like a robot, I'm like, what's wrong with this girl? Is she okay? And now we're worried about what's wrong with the girl versus what Jessica is saying. I kid you not, right? So, like I said before, the gestures, posture is king. Relax, relieve, right? Release, get the shoulders back a bit, put the foot down, okay? Movement on stage. Are you a pacer? Right? Are you talking with your hands too much? Do you look angry? Right? Are you smiling? When you take a smile, you take a breath. Allow yourself some breaths in between the speech. Did you come on stage with your hands crossed? Like you're ready to, you're ready to fight someone, right? Are you looking around? I like to zero in, guys, on the person in the back of the room. This is a free game gem. I don't necessarily like to look at the person in front of me because I want to get a span of what's happening. And that's how I pick on person. So I look straight ahead. Don't necessarily focus on the person in front of you, guys, because if they're fidgeting, now your head is dropping low, if you know what I mean. So always focus to the back of the room. Also, if you're being timed at an event, that's probably where the person is holding up the card to tell you, okay, time is up. And if you're talking with your hands, right, talk with maybe one and then switch with the other. Sometimes when you're going like this with 2 hands, persons will say, oh my God, you're too excited and you're too aggressive. And then your message is lost. So 55% of people care about what you're doing on stage and also what you look like on stage. Be groomed. Ladies, put on a red lipstick, game changer. Even if that's not your color, get it for the holidays. It will make you feel more powerful. Okay, you can research that and why persons wear red. Very powerful. And to go back with the robot talk, tonality, don't be too high pitched, don't be too monotone either. Stay the course, take the smile, Take the sip of water. You don't want your voice to go dry. I have a bottle of water with me at all times, even here at the house, where I'm streaming from with you guys tonight. Take that very seriously. So we have the 55% here with body language and the 38% with the tonality. It really isn't about what you're talking about, to be honest. That's a big oh my God moment right for me, as I was researching more on the topic as well. Content tips. Okay, so there's so much more to this, guys, but I picked out the top 4: persuasive, informative, demonstrative, and ceremonial. What kind of speech are you going to deliver? Very big with the outline of this speech, right? And the main topic, and then I have my para topic, or people call it the by topic. Very important. I still write speeches, pen and paper. No longer do I do the whole paragraph, but I'm a bullet queen. Love my bullets, love my Post-its. I don't know if you guys can see me. I have a Post-it right here. Invest in the Post-it. Post-it boards can help you outline. I don't know how many authors are here. Also, as an author, it helped me stay organized with my book. So what speech are you giving or delivering? Very important. So persuasive, this is where the politicians come in. This is where the lawyers come in. My client did not commit this crime. And here's the reasons why. She's a pillar of the community. Pause. I'm actually trying to do everything that I taught you guys so far, right? They take the pause and they're looking at the jury, and they're looking at the person that they may or not know. I haven't been called to action, so I don't know if they know who the decision maker is for the juror or whoever, but they take the pause, they lean in, and they want to make sure to paint this picture of this person that will never commit the crime. Lawyers are very powerful, as well as politicians. Vote for me. I'm your girl. I'm going to reduce crime. And they take the pause and they use their hand like a clicker, right? And they kiss the babies on the head and they shake their hands. Strategic. They knew they were coming in to tug on the heartstrings of the parents about whatever, the SRV virus or whatever that's happening right now. And they're on the news and they wait for the teardrop. I mean, I'm not making this up. This is what their speech is about. This is convincing. Believe. They want you to believe. And lastly, they want you to do something. Are you going to say the person's guilty, or are you going to vote for me for the next election? So these are the convincing speeches. These are the speeches that I love, because you really need to use the body, lean on something, take the pause, hold on for the eye contact. This is a big one. And a lot of people use this night and day. Or you do it at work. Why should I get the raise? Hello? Talk about your capabilities. Talk about the statement, the capability statement. What differentiates you? Okay. Informative. I'm here to tell you about the COVID-19 virus. This virus came in the wee hours of the night, right? Do you have sweats? Are you sweating? Do you have tremors? Is your heart? I'm giving you guys the specifics. So then you go back home, you have your checklist, and you're like, wait a minute. I remember that Jessica said something about the topic that was informing you about it. So this is what they were doing all throughout the pandemic, right? You had the governor on the computer and on the TVs, and anything that can get to the person to deliver this information. Wash your hands, right? Throw the napkins away, wash your hands. Bacteria's on these things, touching the surface. I remember on the train, everybody had the gloves on. Information is king, information is power. So if you're delivering that speech, have some statistics. Alicia opened up about how many people were afraid to public speak. People would rather get bit by a snake, honestly, than talk in front of people. That is a fact. You can Google it. It's the top one fear for a lot of people, is to public speak. We tell you no lies here. Phil knows. That's why they keep on bringing us back. Right, Phil? So, shock them with the numbers, get their attention right away, and information, and also Tell them where to go for the follow-up information. Go to the CDC website. Remember the WHO website, HOW, who is everywhere. Come to us. Let us be that platform for you to get the information. And this one is pretty self-explanatory. So many persons are on TikTok demonstrating how to cook. The mad scientist. Oh, what am I bringing? Brewing in my lab. I don't know if you guys used to watch this little show called Dexter. He was a little bad little character, but he was always like, what am I cooking up? But I never forgot Dexter. The smoke was in his face, and he always had his eyebrow up, and so demonstrated. Take your time when you're demonstrating something. Have tips. I remember the Dr. Phil show. He would talk about prepping for the colonoscopies or what have you. Bullet points, because as you're doing, guys, everyone learns differently, right? You may have the visual learner or the person like me that has to take all the notes and all the things. So do both when you're demonstrating. Understand to take a beat and ask any questions so far. Always ask the audience how, kind of like how you're doing, but not saying how I'm doing, but you're tricking them to say, is everything okay? Should I slow down, right? Did you get that last step? And how to bake the cookies and all of those things. Check in with your audience throughout this whole process. But when it comes to demonstration and you're doing things, some people speed up as they get excited. Take a pause and say, is everything okay? And ask to go back to the next step and so forth and so on. Ceremonial. This is what I do for a living. Didn't even understand that I had the public speaking bug. As my brother would say, he also is a person that does speech writing and things of that nature, but it wasn't that I cared about. It was him on stage delivering the speech. I cared zero about him writing the speeches. But what I realized is that I loved how people responded to him when he did a ceremonial speech. So he was an MC, and I took that on. The weddings, the birthdays, the parties, get to know the people, of course, who you're speaking about. I don't think somebody would ask you to do something for them for a ceremony if they didn't think that you had what it took. Personal experiences are often given in this speech. Don't embarrass the person. I've seen things go very weary on a toast for the bride and groom. This guy, how many girls did you beat? It's just crazy. Like, oh, John, how many girls were you with? All right, I'm gonna need you to turn down, but do it in a way where it's still classy, guys, still tasteful. I put a lot of jokes in this, I want the air to be light, but it happens with nerves, right? John didn't need to hear about that at his wedding, I promise you. But put some emotions in it, put some personal experiences in it, but don't embarrass the person. And I guarantee you're gonna give one emotional speech while you're here on earth, because you know what, people are passing. They may ask you, hey, could you be the representative of your family and all that stuff? Could you give a graduation speech or whatever, or just a toast for someone's retirement party? All of these things are categorized as occasional speeches. They say nine times out of 10, you're going to give one of these speeches before you transition in life. So, get to know the scene, the audience, but also don't be too embarrassing to the person. It's not nice. Okay,
Awesome.
Oh, sorry, Alicia, I forgot this is your.
No.
Like, I'm on a roll, girl.
Yeah. So as we understand all the different ways that we can do public speaking, from different types of speeches to the way that our content lands, the way that our body language, can communicate a totally different message than what we're actually saying with our words and our content. Body language is so important. As Jessica said, it's 55% of the way that we communicate. And that's just in every day, not even in a public speaking setting. So we wanted to share some key tips that help to focus on body language in and of itself, because that is telling a key message just as much as all the other areas of your speech or of your communication is. So first and foremost, have an open posture. Jessica spoke about this a couple slides ago. You don't want to be hunching, you don't want to be slouching, standing up straight, even if you're on a chair, back straight, aligned, hands on your desk or in front of you or on your lap, feet on the floor, an open, tall, straight posture. That's going to be really, really important, because you look, like what you're saying is serious or important, that you're not here to mess around, that you're paying attention, and that you're here to deliver a message. So your body language and the way that you position yourself, super important. If you're standing, again, make sure you stand straight, you're not hunched over, you don't have your hip out to the side. Make sure that you're the way that you are standing and the position of your hands, whether they're on your hips, to your side, the way that your feet are positioned, are all telling a story. So the way you position yourself, really, really important. From there, as Jessica said, good eye contact. You can't be looking all up and down the place and staring at the ground or staring at your hands. If you don't want to stare somebody in the face or look at someone, look to the back of the room. Pick a point at the back of the room and stare at the wall, because then it still looks like you're looking at people, but you're not looking somebody directly in their face. So having that opportunity can help calm the nerves. Or if you're going to look at people, don't stare at one person so intently. Maybe stare for 10 seconds, then move around, and then look at different people throughout the room. So whether you're more comfortable looking at people, have more of a layered approach. If you don't want to look at anybody, just stare at a point at the back of the room and focus your attention there. That will help to keep your eye contact constant. From there, you'll also want to make sure you avoid touching your face and moving your hands when talking. Now, Jessica is a very talkative person, such as myself, and we love to use our hands. It's like my second pair of of lips when I communicate, because we love to express ourselves. But as Jessica mentioned, it could be too much. So it could be actually a distraction. If I'm like this all the time, you're probably not going to be paying attention to what I'm actually saying. So if you want to maybe have 1 or 2 hand gestures, and then maybe put your hands down by your side and then bring them up to really emphasize a point, that is using your hand gestures correctly. So that's really, really important. And then avoiding touching your face. We do that when we're nervous. Maybe we pick our skin, we might fidget with our hair. So we don't want to be doing that, because again, it's going to take away from the actual message itself. So always either use your hands for a more communicative way to express a point, or leave them by your side. You don't want to get too expressive with them. And then last is remember to smile. Nobody wants to hear somebody with a straight, it's hard for me not to smile. I'm an actual smiler, but to just see, so stoned face. Smiling helps to keep your tonality up, helps to, deliver the message. It's also pleasant to look at because you have, people staring at you. So remembering to smile is going to be really, really key as part of your body language and what you are communicating. Now, if you're doing something serious, then of course, having more of a stoic face is what's important. But if you are doing a speech, or if you're giving some good news, having a smile as part of your communication is going to be really, really important. And then for your tone, you want to make sure that you speak clearly. So I know for myself and Jessica, we can be very fast talkers. So if you feel like you're going too fast, as Jessica mentioned, maybe tap your leg just to kind of give yourself a nice pace of how you want to be speaking and sharing the message, right? Maybe it's tapping the foot a little bit, not too aggressively, but just so you can kind of keep yourself to a steady rhythm of how you're going to be communicating. That's going to help you speak clearly, so people can actually understand what you're trying to say. Similarly to smiling, the reason it's important is because if you speak with a smile, it actually makes the message more enjoyable. So the natural inclination of your tone going up, that is going to happen naturally when you smile. So you don't have to be thinking about the tone. Just by smiling alone, you're going to be creating a more pleasant listening experience. And by doing that, you're going to avoid a monotone voice. So the tonality of your voice is very key, because if it's very low and does not move and you keep at the same tonality, it's not going to be a very, pleasant experience listening to you. So avoid monotonation. If you want to move a little bit, that can also help just to kind of keep the jolliness of your voice up as well. That can be really important. And then, as we can see with Jessica and myself, humor, have a positive vibe. Unless you are, again, talking very seriously, or maybe at an event where you're giving a very serious speech or communicating a very serious message, have some humor, have a positive vibe when you're speaking. Throw a joke in if it's appropriate. By smiling, you're going to make people more comfortable, and they're going to be more open to your message. And so all the way of how your tone comes across, plus mixed with your body language and the content, is going to be super important to ensure that you have successfully delivered your message and you're communicating in the right way. So as we bring all those pieces together, here's some key tips to remember as you begin to think about how to effectively do anything from a communication and public speaking perspective. Breathing is so key, especially if you're nervous. So everyone, if you want to do it with me right now, taking deep breaths is so important just to kind of bring your heart rate down, calm you down, and get you focused. So you take a breath in, you can hold it for 2 seconds and then breathe out for 3 seconds. And if you do that 3 times, that will help to focus you and bring you down to a good level to begin speaking. Again, slow down, focus on the message. If you're worried about missing a point, have some cue cards with 1 or 2 key bullets or points that you want to make sure you hit so that you don't miss the main message of what you're trying to say. That's going to be really key. If you need more notes, make sure you practice so you're not staring at a piece of paper while you're delivering your message. That's really, really important. From there, hydrate. If you are finding your mouth is getting dry, have a bottle of water right beside you. Like Jessica said, take a sip of water, and don't guzzle it because this is not a marathon. Take a sip, a tiny sip that can hydrate everything in your mouth, your vocal cords, because when you're stressed, your vocal cords strain. So taking that sip of water with the breathing will help you relax and help make sure that you're speaking as clearly as possible. From there, we want to practice. They say practice makes perfect. So it's important that if you're giving a speech or you're presenting, take the time a week before to practice the presentation. As Jessica and I, we are with the U.S. Black Chambers once a month. We prepare our content. We practice our content. We share how we're going to say it, who's taking which turns for what, so that we are prepared and ready. If something happens on Jessica's end or my end, we lose internet, I know exactly how to pick it up where she left off and vice versa. We can only do that as seamless as we do because we practice and we take the time to know the content, to be comfortable with the content. And when you practice it, it starts to create a memory in your mind. So as your mouth is sharing the notes and the words, it's not you reading it for the first time. So it's going to come across more naturally and more organically, which is going to help with your presentation. And then last, record your voice. If this is something that you are practicing, recording your voice is really, really important because a lot of times we might say like, or ah, or I don't know, or have long pauses because we're trying to think of what to say next. So if you record yourself, you're going to hear those little inclinations and then you'll know, okay, at this point, don't say like 10,000 times, use the words that you've practiced. Make sure you don't take too long of a pause. And you'll hear these things in the tonality of your voice so that when you practice again and again, you're fixing these little cues to ensure that when you actually do present and you're giving your speech, it's tight, you have everything organized, and people can really take the time to listen to you and be present. All right, so that concludes our session for this evening. Again, we are super excited to bring this incredible content to you because as you're in your organizations, in your businesses, this is what is going to make you stand apart in every environment and in every element that you are in. So if you want more cues, more tips, more insights, please do not hesitate to contact us, reach out on our socials, on our Instagrams, LinkedIn, or our email. We'd love to help support you as you continue to support and build your businesses.
All right. Thank you so much, Jess and Alicia. That was really a great presentation. It was a great bit of content. It had me cracking up here. I'm glad I was on mute a couple of times there, but you definitely demonstrated a couple of things. You do need humor in order to keep people engaged and keep them interested in the topic. I've got a couple of questions for you both. And my first question is, this is for me personally. When I do these events, the first 3 minutes, I feel like I'm about to die from nervousness. And then once I get past the 3 minutes, I'm okay. How do I get to that point at the beginning so that I'm not, afraid?
Just practice. I think the 3 minutes, it's like a 3-minute rule. I think you're not alone. For me, it's probably down to like a minute. I'm like, all right, we got this. And I can bounce back because I do it probably more frequently than you. But just knowing that you got this. We love to hear everything that you have to say, right? I'm like, they want to hear me, right? Of course they do. Like, I'm like my own cheerleader. I don't know if you know about DJ Khaled. All I do is win, 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 no matter what. That's in my head. I think we all need to have a theme song, Phil, but you're not alone. And just know that, listen, whatever I have to say, the community needs this. It's bigger than me. And these are the things that I talk about every time we get on, the purpose, manifestation of that. If I don't say this, then I'm doing a disservice to my community. So just know that, listen, I got 3 minutes, take a deep breath. I got this, and this is bigger than me. I have to deliver. Even if I'm stuttering in the beginning, I have to get it through, make it through the end, because it's bigger than me. My community has to know everything that I'm saying. And you got this, Phil. I'm like, you know what, Phil? Every time I see you, I'm like, is he scripted? Is he reading something on the top? Like, we wouldn't even know, man. So don't even tell anybody that. You're so good.
No, and that brings up another question. You know, for many of us that have trained in public speaking, we know that the new phenomenon called imposter syndrome is a real deal, right? I know we talked about practice,
Right.
but what else do we need to do? What other work do we need to do in order to overcome imposter syndrome? If we're going to be up as public speakers and speaking about our respective disciplines, how do we defeat that one nagging voice in our head that says, hey, you know, you're not President Obama. What are you doing up here?
That's a really good question. A big thing when it comes to public speaking, or really anything, whether it's your business, whether it's your career, is your mindset. Mindset is everything. And the biggest thing to start to cultivate a more positive mindset is actually speaking to yourself, positive speaking to yourself. So saying that, like, I am a good public speaker. People want to hear what I have to say. My voice is worthy to be heard. I am, the best public speaker in North America. Whatever types of things you need to say to yourself to amplify yourself and be, like Jessica said, be your own cheerleader. Those are the things you have to tell yourself, because when you start to feel nervous or doubtful, those types of narratives will replay in your mind and will help you get over that element of imposter syndrome. So doing that plus the practicing will ensure that you feel confident, will ensure you feel ready, and that you have the right stance and mindset to also do your public speaking elements.
Alicia, I love that. I also want to chime in, because as a nurse, I would be doing another disservice not saying this, but we have things that are called endorphins. And I think that our endorphins are sometimes stagnant because we're lethargic. I need you to go out and do a run. I need you to be active in your life. Again, I can't stress enough that we already are pre-designed to have negative thoughts in our cortex. It takes so much power for one negative thought. We have 35,000 thoughts a day. That's a lot. We're human. We're very unique. We have to ease up. We have to give ourselves grace, Phil. And I don't want to go on and on, but imposter syndrome will never go away. It's how you quiet that noise. It will always be there. Top tier public speakers or that are on the $1 million mark fight this every day. So it's not like we're teaching you how to destroy it. It's a monster that will not go away. What we're teaching you are skills, right, for you to adapt better. It will never go away, but I need you to run. I need you to get those feel-good vibrations, those endorphins, right? I need you guys to have probiotics in your stomach. Your stomach, your gut has a lot of emotions. It is connected to your esophagus. And I'm sorry if like I said, I have to do this because I'm a GI nurse. If your gut is not healthy, I don't care what that imposter syndrome is telling you, even if you're lit or not, you are not going to make it in public speaking. Are you doing prebiotics, probiotics? These are the bacteria that will protect the good. If I have a stomach ache, I'm not going to public speak. I will try to get through it, but if I can reschedule, Phil, I'm going to reschedule. They are real determinants in the stomach that make you feel like you can't do anything. Our gut is a big brain. We have two, up here and in our stomach. So we have to go back to the pathophysiological ways in which are bigger than us. And I don't think a lot of people know about the sciences. And it's unfortunate because I think that most schools should have a pathophysiological course so we can know how to treat our bodies, because our mind is connected to our stomach. Again, it's all one piping, but you got to have a good gut, right? You got to watch the grease. Those are triggers to make you think negatively, right? Are you eating the fruits and vegetables? Are you hydrating 6 to 8 glasses? I mean, we have to be accountable, Phil, here about what we're putting in our stomach. It's not about the mindset alone. And Alicia hit home on that, but it goes with the gut. And as African Americans from the diaspora, we're eating too heavy. Okay.
Yes.
We're eating too late at night. You're not going to have that aha moment or free feeling endorphin if you want to go to sleep. How many glasses of wine are you having? And I mean, I can go on and on. You guys will bring me back on the wellness with Jessica. I'm putting it out there. Somebody say amen. No, but seriously, guys, I have to keep it real here.
I'm glad you're doing that. It reminds me of a time when I was up to speak right after lunch. And I'm just eating everything I can. I'm drinking soda and not realizing all that's going to mess with my throat. I got to clear my throat. What are some of the things that I shouldn't do right before I get up to do a big public speech?
Great question. I love a good carb. That's a powerhouse of the body. If you're going to eat the bagel, do the half. I love the protein. Put a nice peanut butter. Peanut butter is very soothing for the vocal cords. If you like the crunchy peanut butter, okay, I won't come for you. Stay away from grease. Stay away from the acid. Like he said, the soda. I would not have any type of artificial flavors going in my stomach. Again, I would probably do a seltzer with a lemon. My biggest thing to drink is a nice ginger tea. Soothes the stomach. I don't know if persons like tea. Now caffeine, yes, we can do the coffee, but are you going to sweat? I remember my first cup of Joe should not have been before a big speech. Boy, I was sweating. My heart was racing. I'm like, doing the running man. It was weird. But I would say maybe do the herbal route. I love a green tea. It does have caffeine, but not as potent as much as the coffee. Stay away from dairy. We're really not supposed to be, drinking cow's milk. Again, I'm doing too much here right now, but these are the things that would probably make the stomach churn. I will keep it light. I do half of a banana for the potassium. Potassium has a lot to do with our facial expressions. Some people hold a smile and then if they don't have the potassium, the smile stays there in a weird, funky way. So what is our bone looking like? What is our bone density? Are we lacking these things? But I would stay with the slice of pizza, the heavy burger. Do you have indigestion issues? You got to know your body. Yeah. I don't know what to tell you guys. You got to, find the time this season. Take a moment. We talked about this offline. Take that moment. Do a food diary, right? You are what you eat. And as a GI nurse, I'm just seeing a lot of foolishness. Like I would say, the Google doctors out there, talk to your doctor. Don't get me wrong. Do your own research, but there's more to Google. And I just learned my GI tract this year. So you got to know your stomach. And also before your meal, are you laying down or are you up, right? And then after the meal, you really should be up 2 to 3 hours before you even lay down or even think about touching the stage. The food has to digest. It happens in the stomach and in the mouth, digestion. But as far as processing it, it takes a good 2 to 3 hours.
Yeah, that was me. I'm eating and laughing and talking
No,
with
too
the people
much.
next to me and got ready to talk and messed it all up. But
Yeah, you did too much.
I recovered. But
Good.
here's a couple of validating comments that came through from the audience. Derek says he likes speaking on an empty stomach. I learned my lesson. I try to do that now. And then we had one person that wrote in and they said, I had the same question yesterday. They moderated an event and the first 3 minutes, they were nervous and they fumbled with the welcome and the bios. But once they started talking, it was a home run. However, they're still dwelling on the hiccups. And so they were real glad that we shared that one event. So can you give us some more details on how to recover when stuff like that happens? How do you recover, when you have a hiccup, how do you get back into that stride?
Great question. Alicia, you want to take a dive in that one?
Yeah, I think that's where the humor part comes in. 'Cause,
Yeah.
I mean, everybody makes mistakes, don't take life too seriously. It can really, shake up your nerves if you make a mistake, especially if you're, opening a ceremony or opening a presentation, but just make light of it. Just, say, oh, I guess cat got my tongue today.
Yes,
Can't
I was
put
going to
two
say
words
that.
together.
Yes.
So,
Took a
and
sip
you'll
of
get a
water
little laugh.
first. Yeah.
Exactly. And you'll get a little laugh from the audience. It will lighten them up. It'll lighten you up, and then you'll just keep going. So don't be afraid to poke a little fun at yourself, and kind of just roll with the punches. And I bet you more often than not, people aren't even really noticing. So we make things a lot more bigger in our head than they are.
Yes.
So take it easy. Don't be too hard on yourself and have some fun.
On to the next one, on to the next one. Google TI, have that in your song. Danita, move on, sis. At the end of the day, you were so hot and fire. We forgot about that. Honestly, like she said, we're our biggest critics. We are our biggest critics, right? We hold on to fear, right? You got to be fearless, honey. So you know what? It is what it is. I'm on to my next one. But also when it's happening, I love the joke. I'm like, oh my goodness, here I go. You know, you gotta laugh at yourself. You can't be too serious. You can't beat yourself up. You're gonna hold yourself back. Fear loves that. Now, fear is gonna be in your mind. Like I said, Danita, it's gonna take a long time for that positive to go through that layer. So you gotta help it. We have to help our brains release those endorphins because they're like a prisoner. Like, I want to come out and play. But if you're brewing, you are not going to block yourself from another opportunity. Also, get a pen and paper. What could I have done better? Did I do the deep breathing exercise thoroughly? Did I meditate? I mean, the only way we are going to thrive is if we make mistakes. If you're not making a mistake, honey, you're doing something wrong. You're too perfect. And people don't trust perfect, period. Move on. Have that theme song in your head. You know what I mean? But we as a people, we wake up every day with so much pressure as is. We have to allow some grace to come in, for sure. But understand the pathophysiological part. Do a little homework over the holiday season. Understand the brain. Understand that it's bigger than you. You're just a person in this body, just trying to make it every day, man. You can't. It's just so heavy, and I can go on, but you can only do what you can. And again, understand the GI tract, understand your stomach. Very big. Like, you guys have homework to do for the next session.
Awesome. I'm reading a book right now by Oprah called What Happened to You. And it talks about how the brain has this process where it receives these different cues as threats. Yeah. And the subconscious brain kind of kicks in and it starts, telling you, oh, you should be afraid of this. Yep. And by the time it gets to the top of your brain, or the top portion of your brain, or the brain that really realizes what's going on, and it says, it really wasn't that big of a threat, right? So you got to try to figure out how to understand what's really a threat and what's not. And public speaking is not a threat.
Exactly. And we can talk about Freud and all the philosophers about the id and the ego. These things are real, right? Yeah. And so, like you said, by the time it gets there, it surrendered to whichever way, it gave up. So you got to be very strategic with the thought patterns. Alicia, affirmation queen, especially on TikTok, like, it's easier to follow an affirmation now, guys. Let technology help you, please. Yeah. There's these people that you can follow, the iPods, and Alicia, you know more of them than me, and they'll pour into you. You got to find a way to relax, guys, and you got to let technology help you. And like I said, the manifestation, you are powerful. It's right there. I look at it every morning. You may not say it out loud, but it's here. Nothing can stop you. And I think DJ Khaled has made millions on this brand of God did, and you can hashtag it. I mean, he's through the roof, right? He believes in Allah, whatever. I'm not here to preach, spirituality, but if you could believe in something, is what I'm saying, that's bigger than you. I had to show up today, right? Yeah. I'm tired. I worked a double. You can probably see it. I wear no makeup on. I'm being very transparent. But I said, Phil's counting on me. The community's counting on me. It's more burden on my back, but it serves my purpose. Danita, what is your purpose? Why were you on stage that day? Right? So we just have to give ourselves so much grace next year and the year after that, because we have so much against us as Black persons, Latinos. They don't want us here. I can go on because I've been burned in different trajectories of my life. It's in my book that I talk about. It has to be bigger than you, Danita. Is it for your family? Did you need this gig to show them another dynamic? Like, sis, you got to do some work. You got to do some internal work, period. We all do. I'm not picking on her, but I'm just saying that you got to move on. You got to move on. And we hold on to so much toxicity, so.
And I'm not wearing any makeup either. Just so.
Yeah. I'm like, oh my God, I don't have a filter or anything, but it is what it is. I showed up for my community. That's all.
I woke up like this.
Like this.
I know that
Yeah.
a couple more questions came in, and I know we're
Okay.
running a little bit on time, but
Yeah.
Carl asked the question. He says, regarding body language, does having your palms open on occasion indicate that I'm here to serve you? Is that a positive gesture, or is that a, stay away from me gesture?
Yeah. I mean, I'm
I,
not a fan of it. I don't know about Alicia. I
yeah,
think freeze, frisk 'em, hands up.
yeah, I don't.
I don't feel empowered. But if I'm like this, it's better to me, because to me, this is like, I'm bringing it in. I'm bringing it, I'm hitting home run. Or if I go like this, to me, if I go like this, I may want to put my hand down. But for this, it's just like, I don't know. I just think it's not the best light. Alicia, you? I
Yeah,
don't know.
I agree. I think if you, based on what I remember seeing about the comment, if you want to show that I'm here to serve you, maybe have them out and
Yes.
like saying I'm here to serve you. Don't have them up. I think there's too much historical elements to that. I would
Yes.
scrap it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then this last one kind of helped me out too.
Mm.
Where does storytelling fit in? And I know for me, when those times where I was like extremely nervous, I
Mhm.
was able to tell a story, and then it kind of calmed my spirit, and then I was able to effectively address the audience. Tell us about storytelling
I
in
love
public speaking.
it.
Yeah.
I love it. Like you said, it puts you at ease. It shows how authentic you are. It shows that you can be trusted. If I didn't talk about some of the things, so let's say I'm in a nursing empowerment event and I didn't talk about leadership and what happened to me, they're like, oh my God, this girl has not gone through anything to say she was going through something, right? So I got to kind of hold your hand a bit and bring you along the journey to say, you know what, I am real. I am here standing. I have testimony. Testimony is very, very powerful, guys. So, Carl, I think that was your question. What have you gone through? You're an entrepreneur. What are the pitfalls? Again, Danita, things I talked about earlier. It's bigger than you. I always talk about my parents. They came here from nothing, right? They came from Jamaica. This house was like the underground railroad, if you will. Everyone that came from Jamaica stopped here. They got their money, they pooled, and they were able to go. So if I didn't know my history, I wouldn't be doing the service justice. Alicia?
Yeah, storytelling is everything. I think that's how you captivate your audience. I think that's how you deliver a powerful message. I think that's how you
Yeah.
stand apart. Your story is you. There's no one going to have your exact same
Yes.
story. So you want to stand out, you want to make an impression, tell your story. Start with a statistic, start with
Yes.
an event that happened to you and you came out on the other side, like testimony, like Jessica said. Talk about your background, who you are. There's so many amazing stories that you probably need to uncover within yourself. So use some time to reflect, to journal, to figure out what stories you resonate most with you, for what audience, for what purpose, etc. And you can literally shift the energy in a room with the right story. So storytelling
Absolutely.
is incredibly important, especially if you want to do public speaking as a career or an element as part of your business. You need to know how to tell a good story.
This is awesome. Awesome. Jessica, Alicia, I want to thank you both. This has been great. And I'm really, really appreciative of the series that you all put on this year. This is the
Thank
second
you.
year that I've been working with you all, and you all have done some amazing work for our business members, for the chambers. And I definitely appreciate you. And we look forward to working with you in 2023.
Hey,
Awesome.
awesome. Guys, any other questions? And Danita, I had something to tell you before about the joke. We just gave you guys a gem. If you mess up, 95% of y'all can't come up here and do this. Like, y'all rather get bit by a snake. These are the things like we're poor, because I just don't want her to not do this again. And I don't know,
Yeah.
I'm a worry bee. Like I'm really thinking about you right now. But use the statistics, scare them, right? Say a lot of you guys couldn't do this, and here's why. Be a little cheeky, but say 95%. And I had a little rough start, but here we go. We're gonna finish strong. But I love a good comedy. She's like comedy always, yeah. So I just don't want you to dwell on it. 2023, bigger and better, upward and onward for everyone.
Love it. Love it. Okay. Well, that concludes our event for today. I want to thank you all for attending Public Speaking 101 with the Career Mavericks. This was made possible through our work with the SBA. A tremendous thank you to Jessica and Alicia for always delivering, and our community navigator chambers for advocating for Black businesses, and to you, our viewers, for sharing and participating in this discussion. I want you to know that USBC, a while back, we introduced By Black, the only Black certification program with a business directory that provides businesses that certify access to private and public procurement opportunities. We highlight our businesses and we provide other benefits. Now, this online program, it can help prepare you for the contracting space as a documents preparation guide, and you can get certified today by visiting usblackchambers.org/certification. So we invite you to give us your feedback on today's session. We'll be sending out some emails afterwards, but we want you to join us in 2023 as we have a new slate of programming that we are going to develop and deliver for all of our businesses. Be sure to follow us on social media at usblackchambers.org. And if today's forum prompted any additional questions, any interest, please feel free to contact us at programs@usblackchambers.org. So I really do appreciate you all. On behalf of our president, Ron Busby, our board and our staff, and our whole team, we want to wish you all a happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy Hanukkah, whatever you decide to celebrate, and a Happy New Year. We'll see you back in 2023. Thank you all.